Riptide GP Renegade is a race rocket-powered hydrojets through futuristic cities and water parks featuring thrill-ride racetracks packed with shortcuts, secrets, and interactive obstacles. Riptide GP Renegade is the action arcade water racer for a new generation, and the features are thrill ride environments, deep career mode, online multiplayer, split-screen multiplayer challenge mode transforming vehicles, and state-of-the-art water racing. And this game is not free, it's a paid game.
Here we go!
Real Racing 3 is among the more realistic racing games, which gives some credence to the name of the game. It also a favorite among our readership. The game is full of content, including over 100 cars from various manufacturers, various game modes including real-time multiplayer, and even the game racetracks are digital versions of real racetracks. There are over 2,000 total events with varying rules and types of races. This one is fairly old, so we would not blame you for wanting something a little more recent. There is a ton of content to play through with this one, though. Real Drift Car Racing Lite is a game that focuses mostly on drifting. You'll be racing around corners trying to get an edge against your opponents. It comes with different difficulties based on your skill level. There are also the usual features, including cars to unlock, a campaign mode, various tracks, and tuning options. Unlike most, this one has a both free and paid version. The paid version still has in-app purchases, but it'll get rid of advertising and unlock some additional content. It not bad overall. Nitro Nation Drag and Drift is a newer drag racing game that's been tearing up the racing games charts. Despite being free with in-app purchases, the developer boasts no energy limits, no delivery time for car upgrades, and fewer of those freemium pitfalls we all don't like. There are a ton of cars to unlock, online multiplayer modes, tons of upgrades, visual customizations, and even car tuning. It like CSR Racing and drag racing had a baby. It does have a few bugs though, so beware of that. Motorsport Manager Mobile 3 is one of the newer racing games on mobile. Technically, it's a racing simulator. However, there are some actual racing mechanics in the game as well. You start with a fictional racing team. You hire employees, upgrade your business, make your car better, and win lots of races and events. It's a surprisingly comprehensive game. You have to plan every pit stop and train your racers to race better. This game is excellent and this is not free, it's a paid game. Horizon Chase World Tour was one of the best racing games of 2015. It features retro-inspired graphics. There is also a lot to do. It features dozens of tracks, a variety of cars to unlock, and more. What makes this game unique is that it has complete Android TV support, NVIDIA Shield TV support, and you can use most game controllers with it. There is also an online multiplayer mode and leaderboards to round out the experience. The free version is a demo that lets you try out a few of the tracks for free. The developers are still adding new events as well, and we could not be happier. Yes, you can play this racing game offline as well. Hill Climb Racing 2 is one of the newer racing games on Android. It features a simple premise, colorful graphics, and simple controls. You'll be racing up and down hills against opponents. It sounds easier than it actually is. Players can also customize their vehicles, tune them to behave a certain way, and more. The game includes a campaign, an online multiplayer mode, achievements, daily tasks, and challenges. It also works pretty well on older devices. It's a freemium game. That's not a big deal, but we just wanted to let you know. This is also available as an offline racing game as well. GT Racing 2 is another game-loved title. It has not received as much love or attention as the Asphalt series, but that's okay. It features 71 cars from over 30 manufacturers. You'll be able to race on 13 tracks, engage with over 1,400 events, and there are weekly challenges to play with. You can also race online against other players. It's not as aggressive as many freemium games, and we were thankful for that. The updates come slower on this one, but it's still one of the better racing games. Grand Prix Story is a racing sim from Carosoft. The developers are really good at making quirky, simple simulation games with decent mechanics. You will be the boss of your own team. That puts you in charge of training drivers, acquiring sponsors, and winning as many races as possible. It's a good approach for those who like racing, but prefer a more hands-off approach. Those looking for a realistic experience may be disappointed. However, it's still not a bad game. It's also a pay-once game with no in-app purchases. Drag Racing is another drag racing game much like CSR, and, admittedly, it does not look nearly as good as its competitor. However, what it lacks in graphics, it more than makes up for in mechanics. You will be able to tune your car pretty much how you want. It's easy to spend a long time tuning your car so that it runs perfectly. There is a competitive multiplayer mode along with a ton of cars to unlock. It's an old game, but it been updated frequently and it's still one of the best racing games out there. Dirt Trackin is a retro racing game. The graphics, controls, and other elements are strongly influenced by the racing games of past titles. Aside from that, it features real racers in the off-roading circuit, 24 cars to choose from, 10 tracks, and more. You can even have the controls on screen if you don't like tilting your device to steer. You can even run races up to 100 laps if you want to spend some real time in this game. Unlike most, it'll pay one's title with some optional DLC as in-app purchases. That's great for those who want to get out of the freemium grind. The CSR Racing series is one of the most popular racing games out there. CSR Racing 2 is a drag racing game. You will be buying cars, adding upgrades, and then racing. It features a campaign mode with plenty of races. You will also be able to do online racing against people if you want. There are plenty of cars to collect and the graphics are actually pretty good. It's a good time killer in the racing genre. CSR Racing 2 is a freemium game. That does not make it bad, but it's something to be aware of. Beach Buggy Racing 2 is very similar to games like Mario Kart. It's a kart racer with various special abilities to give you an edge. Players race across a variety of tracks in a variety of locations, each with its own obstacles. The game includes 45 power-ups, over 40 carts to collect, online PvP, various customizations, and a few different game modes. We do wish it had some tertiary features like offline play and Google Play Games achievements. After all, this is a vector unit game. Asphalt 9 Legends is the latest racing game from Gameloft and the latest in the popular Asphalt franchise. It features excellent graphics, solid mechanics, and a metric ton of content to play through. That includes over 800 events, weekly and monthly events, and online PvP action. You also get up to 50 cars to unlock, various upgrades, and more. Absolute Drift is one of the newer racing games for Android. There is not a whole lot of racing in this game. Instead, players drift around tracks. The controls are very smooth as is the gameplay. It's honestly nice to look at as well as play. Some other game features include 6 cars, 3 game modes, various events, and 5 free roaming maps to just drift away. There are also online leaderboards and Bluetooth controller support. It's something a little different, but enjoyable nevertheless. Plus, it has a single cost with no in-app purchases.